October 2nd, 1944. 24,000 feet above the tangled green hell of the Hurtgen Forest. The air is thin, brutally cold, and achingly clear. Inside the cramped cockpit of his P-38J Lightning, Captain Dean Deadeye Miller can feel the vibration of the twin Allison engines through the soles of his boots. It's a familiar hum, a mechanical heartbeat that has kept him alive for over 60 missions. Frost spiders across the edges of his canopy, a testament to the sub-zero temperatures that can kill a man just as quickly as a cannon shell. His mission is simple, but not easy. A high-altitude photo reconnaissance run over German supply lines near Aachen. He is alone, a single silver sliver against an endless blue canvas. This is how he likes it. No wingmen to worry about, no bomber formations to shepherd. Just him, his machine, and the mission. He banks the aircraft gently, the P-38's distinctive twin boom tail slicing through the thin air. The camera in the modified nose cone clicks and whirs, its lens capturing the tiny, ant-like movements of trucks and armor on the forest roads below. Every frame of film is a piece of a puzzle, a clue for the men who will have to fight their way through this unforgiving landscape on the ground. Suddenly, a flicker of movement in his rearview mirror. Miller's head snaps around. His heart gives a single, hard thump against his ribs. 6 of them. Specks at first, but growing larger with terrifying speed. He squints, his eyes tracing their silhouettes. The sharp nose, the squared-off wingtips. Messerschmitt Bf-109s, the Luftwaffe's finest. Below, leading the German flight, Hauptmann Klaus Richter of Jagdgeschwader 27 allows himself a grim smile. The target is perfect. A lone P-38, a Gabelschwanz-Teufel, a fork-tailed devil. Big, heavy, and caught far from home. He keys his throat microphone, his voice a calm, predatory command cutting through the static. Adler Schwarm, this is Adler 1. Target sighted, single P-38 at 12 o'clock high. Looks like a scout. He hasn't seen us yet. We will take him from the stern. Form up for the attack. No mistakes. The German pilots of his Schwarm and its accompanying Rada move their fighters into position with practiced efficiency. They are veterans, honed by years of combat over Russia, North Africa, and now, the defense of the Reich itself. To them, this is not a fight. It is an execution. The American pilot is already dead. He just doesn't know it yet. Their superchargers whine as they climb, trading altitude for speed, positioning themselves perfectly in the sun. A classic hunter's tactic. But up in his cockpit, Captain Miller has seen them. He saw them the moment they crested the horizon. He is not a rookie to be ambushed. He lets them get closer. He needs them to commit. His mind races, calculating angles, speeds, and possibilities. Running is an option. The P-38 is fast, especially at this altitude. He could push the throttles to the firewalls and hope to outrun them. But 6 of them? They'd cut them off, surround him, tear him apart with crossfire. A straight dive is also suicide. The 109s can follow him down. He has one chance. A gamble. A maneuver so dangerous, so contrary to every rule of aerial combat, that they would never, ever expect it. He nudges the nose down slightly, increasing his airspeed, making it look like he's just spotted them and is beginning a panicked run for home. He needs to sell the illusion of fear. He needs them to get greedy. He needs to lure the wolves into the perfect position. Richter sees the American plane dip its nose. He runs. A voice crackles over the radio, filled with youthful arrogance. It's Lieutenant Vogel, his wingman. Richter keys his mic again, a note of finality in his tone. He has nowhere to go. Increase speed. Close the distance. Adler 2, 3. Flank him. Box him in. The kill is mine. The 6 Messerschmitts surge forward, their Daimler-Benz engines roaring as they pour on the power, closing the gap from 2 miles to 1, the distance shrinking with every passing second. The bait has been taken. Miller keeps his eyes in the mirror, watching them bunch up behind him, a tight pack of sharks smelling blood in the water. Closer. Just a little closer.
The 6 Messerschmitts are now less than 1,000 yards behind Miller's P-38, and the distance is closing fast. From their perspective, the American is a dead man flying. The Lightning is a massive target compared to their nimble 109s. Its twin engines and large wingspan make it look cumbersome, slow to react. Hauptmann Richter grips his control stick, his thumb hovering over the gun trigger. He can see the American roundels on the wings now, can almost make out the pilot's helmet in the greenhouse canopy. His flight is perfectly positioned. He has them spread out in a wide fan, cutting off any escape route. The American has nowhere to turn, nowhere to dive. It is a textbook ambush. "He's still running straight," Lieutenant Fogel reports, his voice laced with confusion and excitement. "Why doesn't he brake?" A veteran pilot would be jinking, turning, trying anything to throw off their aim. This one flies as if paralyzed by fear. Richter feels a flicker of contempt. "Perhaps he is a new pilot," he transmits, his own confidence swelling. "Hold your fire until we are within 400 meters. Let's make it clean." But inside the cockpit of the P-38, there is no fear. There is only cold, hard calculation. Captain Miller's gloved hand rests on a lever near the throttle quadrant. His eyes are glued to his airspeed indicator, watching the needle climb past 450 miles per hour. He can feel the 109s on his tail, can almost imagine the German pilots lining him up in their gun sights. This is the critical moment. His entire plan hinges on the next 3 seconds. He has used his superior speed to draw them in, to force them to burn their own energy to catch him. They are now committed, flying at maximum power, their control surfaces stiff, their turning circles wide as a city block. They are focused on a single point, the tail of his aircraft. They expect him to keep running. He will do the opposite. In one fluid, violent motion, Miller acts. He yanks the lever. With a hydraulic hiss, the P-38's combat flaps deploy. These are not landing flaps. They are designed for tight maneuvering, and at this speed, they act like a massive air brake. Simultaneously, he hauls back on the yoke with every ounce of strength in his arms and shoulders. The effect is instantaneous and brutal. The P-38 decelerates as if it had hit a wall of invisible concrete. The G-force is crushing. Miller feels the blood drain from his head, his vision tunneling to a gray pinhole. The straps of his harness dig deep into his shoulders, threatening to tear through his flight suit. The entire airframe groans in protest, the wings flexing under a load they were never designed to bear. The aircraft, once screaming forward in a straight line, now pivots on a wingtip. It's not a turn, it's a reversal. The nose whips upward, over and around, the twin booms of the tail swinging violently as the Lightning performs a maneuver that simply should not be possible. For the German pilots, reality fractures. One moment, they are closing in for an easy kill on a fleeing target. The next, the target vanishes from their gun sights. It doesn't turn left or right, it simply stops, and the space in front of them is suddenly impossibly empty. They overshoot. Their high speed, moments ago their greatest advantage, is now their deadliest liability. Like 6 speeding trains, they have no way to stop. They rocket past the spot where the P-38 used to be. And then they see it. Emerging from the violent maneuver, hanging in the air for a split second, is the P-38. But it's not the tail they see anymore. It is the nose, the blunt, terrifying nose, bristling with the muzzles of 4 50 caliber machine guns and a single heavy thumping 20mm cannon. The hunter has become the hunted. The trap has been sprung. Time seems to slow down as 6 German fighters, their bellies exposed and their momentum carrying them forward, fly directly into the gun sight of the very plane they thought they had cornered. The German radio, once filled with calm commands, is about to erupt in pure, unadulterated panic.
For a heartbeat, there is only stunned silence on the German radio frequency. The 6 pilots, who just moments ago were coordinating an execution, are now scattered and disoriented. They have flown directly through the eye of the needle, overshooting their target so completely that they are now in front of him. The sight is so fundamentally wrong, so against the physics of air combat as they understand it, that their minds struggle to process it. Then the first scream cuts through the static. "Achtung, ist hinter uns! He's behind us!" It's not quite right. He isn't behind them. He's in the middle of them. Captain Dean Miller, his vision clearing as the G-forces relent, finds himself at the geometric center of a perfect kill box of his own making. 6 Bf-109s are laid out before him like targets on a practice range. He doesn't have time to savor the moment. He doesn't have time to think. He acts. His thumb depresses the trigger on his yoke. The nose of the P-38 erupts in a storm of fire and thunder. The sound is not the chattering of wing-mounted guns, but a concentrated, deafening roar, like a giant buzzsaw ripping through the sky. All 5 weapons are clustered in the nose, meaning he doesn't have to worry about convergence. Where he aims, the shells go. A solid stream of tracers, incendiaries, and high-explosive cannon shells lances out across the sky. His first target is the closest, the one whose pilot is still staring back in disbelief. It's one of the flanking 109s. The German pilot has no time to react. The torrent of 50 caliber rounds smashes into his engine cowling, shredding metal and tearing open fuel lines. The single 20mm cannon shell hits the wing root, and the wing simply disintegrates. The Bf-109 snaps into a violent, uncontrollable spin, trailing a thick plume of black smoke and glycol. It's over in less than 2 seconds. One down. The German radio explodes into a cacophony of terror.
Brake! Brake left! He's on me! Get him off me! Where did he come from?
Hauptmann Richter's voice tries to cut through the noise, to restore order.
Reform! All aircraft, reform on me! Turn and engage!
But it's too late. There is no formation to reform. There is only a swirling melee of individual, panicked pilots fighting for their lives. The discipline of the Schwarm has shattered. Miller doesn't hesitate. He kicks the rudder, rolling the big fighter onto its side. His eyes lock onto another 109, this one attempting a desperate climbing turn to escape. It's a fatal mistake. A climb bleeds airspeed, making him a slow, predictable target. Miller pulls the nose up to follow, the P-38's powerful engines giving him an advantage in the vertical plane. He gives the German a short, precise burst. The tracers walk right up the Messerschmitt's fuselage, stitching a deadly line of holes from the tail to the cockpit. The canopy shatters into 1,000 pieces. The plane falters, its nose dropping, as it falls into a lazy, mortally wounded spiral toward the dark canopy of the Hirten Forest 24,000 feet below. 2 down. The engagement is not yet 30 seconds old. Lieutenant Erich Vogel, Richter's wingman, wrenches his stick hard over, pulling his 109 into a tight defensive circle. He looks over his shoulder, trying to locate his commander, trying to find the American. All he sees is chaos. One of his comrades is a funeral pyre falling from the sky. Another is spinning into oblivion. And there, in the center of it all, is the fork-tailed devil. It moves with a vicious grace he has never witnessed. Not like a heavy fighter, but like a predator. It rolls and turns, its twin booms giving it a terrifyingly stable gun platform. It isn't just shooting at them, it's dissecting their formation with surgical precision. Then, a new voice screams over the radio, a voice choked with horror that chills every pilot who hears it. "Er dreht auf uns zu! He's turning back on us!" The pilot is screaming about the first victim, but the message applies to them all. They had him. They were the hunters. Now, he has turned on them, and they are trapped in the sky with a pilot who seems to refuse to miss. Miller rolls out of his climb, his eyes already scanning for his third victim. He sees a 109 trying to dive away. He pushes his own nose down, the Allison engines roaring as he accelerates, ready to prove that the P-38 can dive just as well as its prey.
The sky that was empty moments ago is now a three-dimensional vortex of smoke, tracers, and desperation. The 4 remaining German pilots are no longer a cohesive fighting unit. They are 4 men fighting 4 separate wars against a single, seemingly invincible opponent. Hauptmann Klaus Richter, his face a mask of fury and disbelief, shoves his throttle forward and hauls his Bf-109 into a punishing turn, trying to get a firing solution on the American P-38. But it's like trying to catch smoke. The Lightning pilot is a phantom, always one step ahead, always where they least expect him to be. Captain Miller is now in his element. The initial high-G maneuver had served its purpose. Now he is fighting a battle on his own terms. He uses the P-38's unique strengths to their fullest. Its phenomenal roll rate at high speed allows him to change direction with dizzying speed. Its twin engines provide a safety net of power and redundancy. But its deadliest feature is the nose-mounted armament. Every bullet, every shell flies straight and true. He doesn't need to be a marksman. He just needs to get his nose pointed at the enemy for a fraction of a second. He has the diving 109 in his sights. The German pilot is pushing his aircraft to its limits, the airframe screaming in protest as he plummets toward the ground. He's hoping to outdive the heavier American fighter, a tactic that often works against P-47s or Mustangs. But the P-38 is a notoriously good diver. Miller follows him down, the whine of the wind rising to a deafening shriek. He closes the distance with ease. The German pilot glances back, sees the twin-boomed devil on his tail, and makes a fatal error. He pulls up, trying to escape the dive. The sudden change in direction presents Miller with a perfect, full deflection shot. Miller doesn't give him a long burst, just a quick, brutal tap on the trigger.
A fist of cannon shells and machine gun rounds tears into the 109's belly. There was a bright orange flash as a fuel tank ignites. The Messerschmitt is instantly transformed into a streaking ball of fire, a comet plunging toward the earth. There was no bailout, no parachute, just a sudden, violent end. 3 down. "He's a madman," someone shrieks over the German radio. "Where is Richter?" Richter is trying. He's twisting and turning, using every trick he knows to get behind the P-38. But the American seems to have eyes in the back of his head. He's not just attacking, he is managing the entire battle space. He makes a pass at one German, forcing him to brake hard, and then uses that maneuver to position himself for an attack on another. He's turning their own numbers against them, forcing them into each other's paths, creating chaos and preventing them from ever forming up for a coordinated attack. This is the Cloverleaf trap in full, bloody execution. A continuous, rolling series of attacks where each defensive maneuver by a German pilot only serves to set them up as the next target. Lieutenant Vogel sees his chance. As the P-38 disengages from its third kill, Vogel rolls in from high, coming down with the sun at his back. He has the American perfectly lined up. For a moment, he is the hunter again. His heart pounds. This is for his fallen comrades. He closes the distance. 500 meters, 400. His thumb tightens on the trigger. But Miller has seen him. He was away of Vogel the entire time. As Vogel prepares to fire, Miller does something simple yet brilliant. He chops his throttles and pops his flaps again, just for a second. The P-38 decelerates sharply. Vogel, caught by surprise, overshoots just as his leader did. As Vogel flashes past, Miller retracts the flaps, firewalls the throttles, and kicks his rudder, slewing the nose of the Lightning onto the now exposed 109. Vogel feels the impacts before he hears them. A hail of 50 caliber rounds hammers into his right wing, shredding the aileron and tearing a massive hole in the structure. His plane snaps into an uncontrollable roll. He fights the stick, but it's useless. The controls are gone. As he spins, his last view is of the P-38, undamaged and implacable, already rolling away to find its next target. He reaches for his canopy release. 4 down. Now there are only 2. Richter and one other pilot are all that remain of the confident flight of 6. The hunter has become the last of the hunted, and he is finally face to face with the devil.
The sky has grown quiet. The frantic radio chatter is gone, replaced by the ragged sound of Hauptmann Klaus Richter's own breathing. 4 of his pilots are gone. 4 smudges of smoke staining the horizon. 4 silent testimonials to a catastrophic miscalculation. He is alone with the American now, the other remaining pilot having dived away in a desperate last-ditch run for the safety of the ground. It is no longer a squadron action. It has become a personal duel between 2 pilots, high above a forest that is indifferent to their struggle. Richter is an ace, a recipient of the Knight's Cross with over 50 victories to his name. He has faced down Spitfires over the Channel, fought swarms of Soviet fighters on the Eastern Front, and survived. He is not a man given to panic. The shock has been replaced by a cold, hard rage. He looks at the P-38, circling gracefully 1,000 yards away. It is no longer just an enemy aircraft. It is an affront, a monster that has single-handedly butchered his command. He will not run. He will see this through. He keys his microphone one last time, though he knows no one is left to hear him. Adler 1, engaging the bandit. Miller sees the last 109 turn towards him. He recognizes the markings of a flight leader on the fuselage. This will be the one, the real fight. The others were victims of a trap, dispatched with speed and surprise. This pilot is different. He is coming head on. A game of chicken at 500 miles per hour. Miller accepts the challenge. He levels his wings and pushes his nose down to meet the German fighter. The distance between them evaporates in seconds. 2 miles, 1 mile, half a mile. Neither pilot wavers. This is the ultimate test of will and skill. The one who breaks first, who tries to turn away from the impending collision, will expose his aircraft and be destroyed. Miller's gaze is fixed on the yellow spinner of the Bf-109, growing larger and larger in his gun sight. You can feel the immense pressure, the knowledge that a single twitch, a moment's hesitation, means death. At 800 yards, they both open fire. Brilliant ropes of tracer fire reach out across the shrinking gap.
a storm of lead and explosive shells converging on a single point in space and time. Miller can see sparks flashing across the 109's nose as his .50 caliber rounds find their mark. In turn, the Germans' cannon shells stitch a line of explosions across the P-38's left wing, just outside the engine nacelle. The lightning shudders violently. A red warning light flashes on Miller's instrument panel. Hydraulic pressure dropping. His controls feel sluggish. But Miller's fire is more concentrated. It's the design advantage of the P-38. The stream of 5 weapons, a focused hammer blow, smashes into the 109's engine. Richter sees his windshield craze over, spider-webbed with cracks from a stray round. A plume of thick black smoke erupts from his cowling, momentarily blinding him. His engine coughs, sputters, and dies. In that final split second, Richter knows he has lost. He has been beaten. He yanks his stick back in a desperate, instinctual attempt to climb over the P-38, but the dead engine gives him no power. The Messerschmitt wallows, its nose coming up sluggishly, exposing its entire underside. It's the opening Miller needs. He makes one final, tiny adjustment and fires a last definitive burst. The 20mm cannon shells tear into the belly of the 109, right where the main fuel tank is housed. The German fighter vanishes in a massive, blossoming fireball, a brilliant orange and black sphere that expands and then collapses in on itself. Debris, twisted and burning, flies in all directions. Then, silence. Captain Dean Miller flies through the dissipating cloud of smoke, the ghost of his final opponent. He is alone again. He circles once, his eyes scanning the sky. Nothing. No parachutes. Just the lingering smoke trails, marking the graves of 6 enemy pilots. His left hand is trembling slightly. He takes a deep, shuddering breath, the smell of cordite sharp in his cockpit. He looks at the holes in his wing, at the flickering morning light. His aircraft is damaged but alive. He is damaged, but alive. He bangs the P-38 gently, turning the nose west, towards home. The reconnaissance photos are safe. The mission is complete. But the cold, clear blue sky over the Hurtgen forest is now a different place. A place forever marked by the memory of a perfect trap. And the terrifying, panicked cry. He's turning back on us.